Warner Brothers is definitely pushing it into the direction of having faster races. It's sick. You usually only see that with the guys, that they go out for laps and push each other, but now you finally have a team where the girls are pushing each other that much. I watched on my GoPro and I was always like, you're landing so short just before the wall ride. It's only one more bike length and then you're gonna clear it. I was in the air falling and then my memory cuts. I don't remember anything from on there. That's what I like about such crashes, if you lose consciousness. Imagine I would have done a full front flip and stomped it.
That would have been cool. There's no one watching, it's fine.
There's no one watching it. I already said it feels a bit weird talking in front of all the people, but it's funny because everyone, like a lot of people are going to listen to this podcast later. So obviously everyone is going to know what I'm talking about, but it still feels weird to talk to you guys. And looking at you and then...
And is this your first time in Monzy for BOA?
Yep, my first time here. I haven't had a tour yet, so I'm keen to see the facilities later.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, Nina, we can't really have you on the show and not talk about what went on this weekend in Leogang, unfortunately, because it was, the talk of the town, really. And luckily you're here and you're in one piece and you're broadly speaking okay. But take us through it, right? Leogang World Cup, and wasn't quite the one this year. No,
it's definitely not how I wanted to be talk of the town. And I've kind of wanted to break the Leogang, how do you say it? Fluch.
The curse.
The curse.
Yeah, because the same corner's taken you out the last 2 years, right?
Well, this corner hasn't taken me out the last years. I'm not proud to be now in the books of sending it over the wall, right? But I've had a couple of bad races in Leogang since 2020 actually, and I was ready to have a good one this year. We have to wait another year now. To be fair, I still don't know 100% what went on in my head in that moment. What I can say, I've been kind of way too excited the whole weekend. I've been in a really positive mood. I've taken a lot of positive energy from the last races. I've had good result in Poland. I've seen my paces there in Leogang, and I was ready to get another good result in Leogang. And obviously it's kind of a home race. There's a lot of German speaking people there, friends from home are there, so I was really excited. And I could tell already in qualies during my warm-up, I was kind of over the edge a little bit, so I tried to calm myself down. And then my quali one wasn't that good, still got 6, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm through quali. So that Q1, Q2 is actually putting a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah.
And I kind of chilled out actually a little bit. But then obviously it's race day, you're trying to push the limits a bit, you're trying to find this extra little bit of speed. And we had tailwind on the motorway. For the first time I cleared the second wooden jump after the stump, so I was super hyped after that. You can hear my GoPro, I'm like, oh yes baby. So I was frothing on the motorway, and I think like that excitement, like the overall excitement on the weekend, that excitement after clearing the jump, extra bit of speed because you clear this jump, and then tailwind. We had tailwind for the first time. So I think all these little bits just sent me way too far on that jump. And to be fair, in my head, I watched on my GoPro and I was always like, you're landing so short just before the wall ride. It's only one more bike length and then you're going to clear it. And it's going to be a sick clip. To be fair, that was in the back of my head a little bit. I did not intend to pull it like I pulled it.
The whole way to the wall ride, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's why my head just kind of didn't work anymore. I was just like, in my head was, okay, I squash it a little bit less and then a little bit further, and then I just ride a berm and it's going to be cool, sick, easy, done. But I think, well, I don't know, just didn't squash it enough. Tailwind coming in very quick. And then I was already in the air thinking like, oh my God, that's going way too far. So I kind of tried to dip my shoulder a bit to get to the inside, because my fear was like I'm landing and shooting over the berm because I can't make the turn. Yeah. So I thought like, okay, ride the berm as low as possible. So that was one mistake. And the other mistake was I kind of whipped the jump a little bit and my back wheel came a little sideways. And with that speed, you're not allowed any mistakes. Yeah. So I came in, not like I landed not ideal, kind of bounced a little bit and just bounced way too low, and this G-forces at the bottom in this wall ride, like I could not handle them. My legs just collapsed. I was bouncing on this rear tire. My whole pants are ripped, and then consequences was just going straight over the berm.
And worth pointing out that it's about 60 kilometers an hour coming into this turn, and the top of it's probably 20 feet high.
I would say so. Yeah, about that.
And you went over the top.
I went over the top, and from like I was in the air falling, and then my memory cuts. Like I don't remember anything from on there, which is good.
Yeah.
That's what I like about such crashes. If you lose consciousness, you don't remember the bad stuff. So
you were out for a while though, apparently.
Yeah, apparently like 2-3 minutes fully out, and then I came back, but I don't have any memory until I was down in the first aid pits. So I lost about half an hour, 45 minutes. I was pretty lucky that our junior, he was filming, actually, he was about to film the next corner. He saw me flying off the wall ride and thought like, am I dreaming? Like he couldn't believe his eyes. And then it clicked straight away in his head, and he just let his phone down and just run up to me to help me. And he was the first person there, and he took good care from what he told me, because I don't know. But from what he told me, he took good care of me. Well, it seemed like when I got back, like when I got my consciousness back and I acted completely normal, took my helmet off, was walking around, was like pretty emotional, fuming that I crashed, frustrated, then crying, then being frustrated I can't party tonight. I actually said that. Steve mentioned it to me. I said it about 3 times.
Amazing.
Then we went to hospital just to get some scans, because I actually thought I broke my ribs. I've never done anything to my torso yet, so I didn't know how it feels, but ribs seem to be fine. The lower back started hurting a bit later quite a lot, and it's still pretty painful, and there might be a little fracture on one of the L3 vertebra, not on the core, but on the, how's it called?
I know what you mean.
Transverse process or something.
Transverse
process, that's the word. But she wasn't really sure. You couldn't tell on the x-rays, and she said I need an MRI or a CT scan later, so I'm going to do this that week. But it wouldn't affect therapy anyways. I just have to sit it out now. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. My head is fine, so I'm really lucky about that. I mean, it's been a good knock to the head, and obviously with losing consciousness, it's definitely a concussion. Yeah. But already in the evening, I could feel like I'm actually all right. I had a couple concussions in the past, and from how it's been in the past, I could tell this one should be fine. But you never know. Every concussion is different, and can still be the case that symptoms gonna come in the next couple of days, but so far I'm good.
Yeah, and you were in the new Fox full face as well, right?
I was in the new Fox helmet. I actually only got to see it shortly in the first aid pit, and it seemed like a little bit of paint job was missing at the back of the head. But the shell, what they were saying was all right, but Fox already took it to the States, so didn't see it again in the helmet.
So they're going to take it away and analyze and look
exactly.
At that.
They wanted to keep it and to analyze it and everything, but helmet saved me for sure. And to be fair, I think I got really lucky where I landed. The grass behind this wall ride is kind of soft.
It's long and soft, right? Big meadow.
Felix, our junior, was saying I was laying in all the bog from the cows.
Nice.
It's like, oh, sweet. If that's saving my life, I'm fine with that.
That'll do. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know if there would have been any whatever root, rock, or something hard. Definitely would have been way worse.
Wow. Well, on behalf of the fans of the sport, we're glad you're okay. How do you get back after something like that? Like, how do you process that and move on and remotivate to go again?
So first I want to say actually thank you to everyone who reached out for me. I've never experienced that much love from all the people. It's been amazing how many messages I got and how many people checked in if I'm okay and so on. So that means a lot. Also, my team was really, really good on the weekend and got my back. That was my first very big crash with the syndicate. So all my back crashes were before, when I was on my own team, and it was weird because it's not like your family is around or like people you know very well. Yeah. I was glad my sister was there, so that helped a lot. But No, like my new mechanic did a great job. Our teammate did a great job. Steve is always a legend when he's there. So that helped a lot. And I think that already kind of helped me processing the whole thing in a kind of positive way.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, in my head, this is the biggest crash I ever had. Not in terms of injuries right now. I got away with it. But I've never had such a massive crash. And I think because right now I'm not crazy injured, I'm just positive about everything because I got so lucky.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be any more. Well, ideally I would have not crashed. Obviously, I don't want to do that. But right now I'm just stoked that I can sit here, that I can record this podcast with you and talk about it, and not laying in hospital and being, don't know, having big fractures or having
could be worse.
A head that is not working anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I'm always the most worried about, because I always say, like, every bone you can fix, but when your head isn't right anymore, it isn't right.
Yeah,
and then
100%.
Got a big problem. So yeah, grateful for that, and it helps processing the whole thing. And then it's also, what I always say when I crash hard, I want to analyze why I crashed, and I absolutely know why I crashed. And this is a easy, avoidable mistake I made. Just don't pull, or like just squash that jump as much as you can, land before the wall, right? Or if you want to jump it, prepare for it. That was the thing. I think if I would have said to myself, I want to jump this wall right now, what do I have to do? Do this, this, and that, and be ready for X, Y, Z. Maybe it would have worked.
Yeah.
But not the way I did it.
Fair.
That was just not enough preparation.
With the structure at World Cups, though, now with the new qualifying format, like there is almost a need to get up to quite a high pace pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So it's hard for you to control that, like the excitement and the pace as it builds through the weekend, right? And not have things where it just goes a little bit too far.
Yeah. So time training got very important now. I'm trying to take first run is the only run I'm taking easy. And from on there, I try to get to pace, because I do like 6 runs the first day. And then I actually got 3 runs in on Friday morning before qualies. We only got an hour, so 3 runs is tight.
Yeah.
But in Leogang it's possible because the lift is quick. And I was struggling with bike setup, so I needed to do runs to find a bike setup. But normally you get 8, maximum 9 runs before you're qualifying, and you have to be on pace for qualifying already. There's no protection anymore. And the field is so tight and tough. It is mad. So yeah, you have to be up to speed after 8 runs, and it's crazy.
Yeah, because you definitely, like, if you look at the statistics from last year, the protection weighed in your favour quite a lot, right? You had some unfortunate circumstances that you needed the protection to get through. Did that weigh on your mind coming into this season? Like, I cannot do that anymore.
Yeah, it actually did. Yeah, I knew I profited. Like, I took advantage. I took advantage from being protected last year quite a lot. I mean, also a bit of because of my elbow injury, and I wasn't on speed. So I was like, okay, you have to get your shit together now to actually go through Q1. And this stressed me in Poland. I was so nervous before qualifying. It felt for me like finals.
Wow.
Because it felt for me, you should never say that, but to me it felt like you can only lose because everyone expects you to be in finals. I'm not one of the riders where you think like, oh, if she makes it into finals, it's going to be cool. It's going to be a good achievement. No, I am in finals. It's not a question. But there's always things that can go wrong, and they might be out of your control. So I was so lucky in Poland when I got through. And then Ludenweh again with actually making a mistake. So I made a mistake in my qualies in Ludenweh and instantly said in my head, that's Q2. Because I was sure that's not enough for going through in Q1. But I rode the top quite well. So that made me go through and chilled me a little bit out. And now Leogang again in Q1. So I'm kind of a bit more relaxed now.
Yeah.
I know I've got the speed, even with a not on the limit run, just a safe, solid run should put me into the top 10, should get me through Q1. And this takes a bit of pressure away. But yeah, took 3 races to take the nerves away a little bit.
Do you think you'll be more relaxed next time going into a Q1?
I mean, if I race Val di Sole, I will not be relaxed because...
So we have what, a week and a half now, pretty much? Yeah,
a week and a half. I want to take it day by day.
Yeah.
Let's see with Val di Sole.
Yeah.
We need scans first and make sure there's no fractures, because anything else would be stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I would be, if I would race Valdisol, I would be nervous again because I know I'm not 100% there.
And that's a gnarly track for anyone that doesn't know. Like, it's one of the roughest, rockiest tracks on the circuit, right?
Yeah, I actually said on Saturday evening, I said like, oh, at least I don't have to race Valdisol now. I was kind of glad. But now, a few days later, you're getting your race mindset back.
It's
and
back.
You want to come back. You don't want to sit us out. So also feeling quite like way too good now. Not enough pain anymore.
And you're a podcaster now, Nina. Last time we sat down, you were kind of toying with the idea, which would have been September last year.
Yeah.
And you've gone all in. You're doing a pretty regular podcast, right, with Jasper Jauch?
Exactly, yeah. We had a long chat after recording the podcast last year, didn't we? And I was asking you about quite a few questions. Language was a big thing, wasn't it?
And you've gone with the German language, which I think is really
German,
cool.
Yeah, and I think it's a good choice. I think it would be weird to talk with Jasper, who's also German speaking, in English, and you can still, even if my English I think is quite alright, I can still express things better in German, and it just feels more natural. And the Germans love it. So we actually got good feedback for that podcast. So who wants to listen to it? Der Freilauf podcast. But it's all in German, sorry.
How often are you doing it? Every 2 weeks?
Yeah. Jasper wanted to do every week, but I said like, I don't know if I can make every week. It's going to be a bit too much. And we're talking about a bit of daily stuff, and then we always grab one topic, which is a bit into, I would say, like psychological topics and things, and more like daily life problems, and not too much about racing all the time and our lives. We want to talk about more deeper things, and letting our thoughts just go. And we almost want to, it's going to be a podcast obviously for mountain bikers, but not only. We want to also get people outside of the mountain bike bubble and industry.
Cool. Do you do much prep for it, or do you kind of freestyle, or how does it work?
We did I always like to prep. Jasper's more on the loose side. The last time he phoned me in the morning and said like, I want to talk about this topic. I was like, oof, okay. So I had a few hours to prep.
Nice.
But it's more like loose talk between friends actually. And then I sometimes try to put a bit of my knowledge, my psychological knowledge in what I learned in studies. But the thing is, I sometimes need to prepare for that because it's been a while since I've been in university and stuff.
Okay.
But sometimes it's just good to share advices and stuff, the way you experience them in your daily life, and how you just faced challenges and got along with them, and just to show people that we are struggling with things. So Jasper is a former racer as well, and he's doing YouTube now and content creating, and he's always positive and got good energy, and as soon as the cameras turn on, he's on, and he provides a good vibe. But that's not the only side of life. There's always downsides as well, and not everything is always easy, and that's what we're trying to share and trying to tell people, like, if there's anything, just go out, talk to someone else, share your thoughts, share your feelings. It's not bad, and do something before it gets too bad.
So even athletes are humans, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a human and I do mistakes and I do things wrong.
Yeah.
And I have bad times and I have good times. Yeah.
Awesome. And how are you finding doing it? Are you enjoying it? Because it's quite a time commitment, right?
It is a time commitment, but I love it just because I feel like I can share something from my life without only writing an Instagram caption, which is not really personal all the time. And it gives me a platform where I can express myself a bit more, talk about a few more topics, and just reach out to people. And the feedback we get from the people is amazing. Just the messages we get and emails, and don't know, it's just, it motivates ourselves to just keep doing it. And I love to help people. And that's what we do with this podcast in some cases. And it's just amazing to see. And it's just a little thing we can do for the people out there, for society, and make the world maybe a little bit a better place.
Nice.
A little bit.
And do you enjoy having stuff alongside like athlete things?
I hate just race bikes because that's not enough.
Okay.
It would drive me crazy. And especially now I crashed I might not can race the next race. So what am I gonna do? If I don't have any side projects, I'm gonna fall into a hole and have problems to get out of it. Because if I can't do my sports, if I can't race, if I can't train, I need something else to do. I can't just lay around on the sofa and watch Netflix. I don't even have a Netflix account. So I always need to do something else. I mean, we talked about my PhD the last time. Yeah. I kind of pushed that aside a little bit because I have had a lot of other, like this podcast, for example, projects going on in the winter. Also moved to Innsbruck, so that's been quite a lot of admin.
Yeah.
And I felt like if I do this PhD, I want to do it properly and not just as a side project, aside racing, and then getting like distracted or pulled out of the topic every 2 weeks because there's another race, and we've got so many races this summer. So it's definitely still on the list, but probably for after the racing career.
Sounds sensible. Yeah. And you had some changes in the off season, and I guess one of the biggest of those is mechanic, right? You've got a new mechanic for this year. That relationship is super important, right? They're putting together and checking the bike that you're going to go and risk your life on, throwing it down a World Cup downhill track.
Over a wall ride.
Or off the top of the wall ride. How was the bike? We've checked on you. I haven't checked on the bike.
I spoke to my mechanic yesterday and he said I need a new frame.
Okay. You've done a proper job.
Well, he hadn't had a proper look, but my headset was really loose. So I think actually the way I landed was probably front wheel, like fork first, and that kind of bent the headset and stuff, which is good. So this took the first impact probably, and then it sent me over the bars, because there's one photo series where you can see I'm still hanging onto the bars while going over the berm. Imagine I would have done a full front flip and stomped it.
That would have been cool.
It's gonna be one, but nah, kidding. I'm not a freestyler. My relationship to my new mechanic is really good now. It's been a bit of a last minute change before the season, so I was a bit worried that we're gonna get along. But he's a legend. He's really good. We get along so well. He's joking around quite a lot. That's cool.
Is the mechanic someone that you kind of find and bring to the team, or does the team find them and then you kind of deal with it?
The team that bring him into, and they were asking me if I have someone in mind, maybe even from Germany, but I said like, I don't really have someone. So if you got someone and I get along with him, let's do it. Let's go on. And I'm stoked. I'm happy. Well, we've got a few new buddies in the team with the juniors and then new mechanics. That brings a lot of good energy, good vibes, and a lot of more knowledge from. Like one of our mechanics is from MotoGP. Gio, exactly.
Met Gio, he's a smart guy.
He's a legend. He's cool.
Yeah,
his personality is cool, and he's so smart.
Yeah,
so that brings a lot of new stuff, and then he kind of worked a lot with my mechanic to get him set up for the data system. So this is where my mechanic had to work on, because he wasn't too familiar with all that stuff. But he's done a good job on that, and we are on a good level now where we can use it in a helpful way.
Nice.
So,
did you have much time pre-season with him to kind of dial your working process in?
Yeah, we did 2 team camps, one just him and me, and then one with the whole team, and that was just about enough. And then we did a race. We did Fort William European Cup, so that was very important too, just to go through the whole warm-up to the top racing procedure together. And I think especially after the first World Cup, I was like, okay, we're dialed now.
That's good. That's pretty quick, to be fair, because it's such a big thing, isn't it? The way you two work together.
True. I mean, there's always. I've been working with my former mechanic for 3 years, and then you take certain things for granted, and you don't even ask for things anymore because don't even have to mention that it's clear.
Yeah.
But obviously, with a new man, you have to. And you have to address certain things, but that's getting better and better every race. And already now I feel like I don't have to mention certain things anymore because he knows it, and he knows. I think it's almost half a year now, so we know each other quite well now. There was one situation in Poland actually, and I think if we would have worked together for longer, he would have reacted differently. Mm-hmm. So there was this one jump, like you've done start gate, little hip jump, and then this one long double.
The long one, yeah.
Exactly, which needed a lot of pedaling to get over it. So it's not been a technical jump, it just needed a speed. And I've been doing it in that morning once in practice, in like rainy conditions and everything. So I was stoked. I cleared the jump once, and then I was like, okay, let's do it for finals. It started snowing. It started raining even more. I walked up to the jump 10 minutes before my run, which I normally don't do. I normally don't look at the course again. But I thought like, I have the chance here to look at it, so maybe I do it. And then I saw the water standing in the ruts. And I was like, now it's water in the ruts. Nobody's going to jump this jump before me, probably. Then it's not going to clear, and this water's going to slow you down. And I kind of felt unsafe about doing it.
Yeah.
So I spoke to him, to my mechanic, was like, what do you think? Should I jump it or not? And he kind of said, nah, it's all good. Don't jump it. Let's go for the safe option. But after the race, he told me that in the back of his head, he was like, oh, for sure you can jump it, 100%. But he didn't want to convince me, and then maybe I would have fucked it up, and then it would have been on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And he said, like, now knowing you a bit better, I think you could have done it. And I think I would have told you, if we would have had a few more races together, I would have just told you, do it. Because Steve was like, if I would have been on top with you, I would have told you to just do it, because I know you can do it. But anyway, it's been the first race of the season. It's been the first World Cup race with my new mechanic and everything. So we kind of just took it smart there. It could have gone wrong.
Just takes a bit of time, right?
I got third, so all happy with that decision. But that was one example where maybe a bit of more work together would have made him decide different.
Yeah, interesting. Have you made any other changes in the off season to either like your training or nutrition, or like what have you thinking about differently to maybe you have in previous years? Yeah,
I actually done another big change, and I've got a trainer now.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've always done yourself before, right? Because you've got that experience. So.
Exactly. So I always kind of planned my whole training myself.
Yeah.
Well, I always had a friend where I kind of checked in with him, like, do you think that's the way we should do it? But towards the end of the last years, I had my structure. I know what I do. I know my body. So that's it. But since the year before, I had a nutrition coach, Nadja Pries, and she reached actually out to me and was like, do you want some nutrition help and advice? And I was like, I don't know. I was actually not too positive about that, because I felt like I've got all my ideas here and I don't want someone to interfere here. Yeah. Then I had a long chat with her, and I felt like, okay, I think we're on the same page. We're pretty much on the same vibe. And then we started nutrition coaching last season already, and it went pretty good. And she's a former BMX Olympian. So she's been a BMX racer. Got her own CrossFit gym now, and I love CrossFit.
Excellent.
And her brother is a downhill racer, and she raced downhill like for one season as well. Okay. So she's got a bit of experience in that whole field. So I asked her, because she's also coaching people now for CrossFit in her gym, and I was like, could you maybe imagine coaching myself for downhill mountain biking? And she was like, okay, that's a big request, but let's try it. Let's do it. And it works. Yeah. It's brilliant.
What are you doing differently then, like on a daily or weekly basis? Like what are the big changes from what you were doing before?
It's crazy, because it's not even that different.
Okay.
I've done a lot of things already the way she's doing it. What we do more is we do a lot of CrossFit workouts in the gym, and a little less efforts on the bike. Okay. So less intervals on the bikes. I haven't done any intervals till January on the bike, so just in the gym stuff, and then only once a week. And then actually I got sick in Queenstown and everything. I haven't done intervals for like 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow, okay.
And then only done a couple now before the season, and then the rest we do in the gym.
So you're using intensity from the CrossFit stuff
exactly
to replace
because if you think about downhill racing, we do our efforts on the bike pedaling, but how often do you pedal on a downhill bike?
Not much.
I think doing burpees is actually more sport specific than doing intervals on the bike.
Yeah.
But intervals on the bike has their place as well, so they are important too. And we are a bit more consistent with stuff. It's just good to have someone in the back of your head to actually tell you, like, okay, you have to do this session now. Because if you plan your training on your own, you always try to fit everything else in, and then sometimes you're like, okay, I could do this session tomorrow and then do this here, and then just to work all your social plans around and your travel and all that stuff. But yeah, I've been really regularly to the gym, done a lot of more regular endurance training, sometimes up to 10-12 hours a week, beside all the other training. So I think overall I actually trained even more than I did last year's. Yeah. And I feel, we don't have the semifinals now anymore, but every race day so far, I felt pretty energized in the morning, which has not always been the case last year.
Yeah.
But we had semifinals, so that's a bit different. But I'm feeling really, really strong at the moment. So that's
excellent.
And we also increased all the numbers in the gym about 3 to 5%.
Fair play. For someone that's been training for a long time, that's impressive.
My watts on the bikes, like my max watts gone up quite a bit, even more than 5%. So that's sick.
Sweet. Yes. And that's a confidence boost, right? Being able to see those figures on paper is like, okay,
absolutely.
we're ready.
So, and then also worked a lot on my skills. She actually put one skill session a week into my plan. I was like, oof, okay.
With a coach or just like specific focused efforts?
Whenever I can, like I visit her about 3 times and we went to the BMX track and she coached me there.
Nice.
And then the rest I was doing on myself, and she always said like try to film it and then send me videos, or I've still got my skills coach and I sent him videos sometimes, or I was talking to him about what should I do in my skills sessions and then he sent me plans. So that's like them two working together a little bit.
Yeah. Impressive. And on the nutrition side, have you made any significant changes there in like how you approach eating and what you take and what you don't take?
Yeah, the main thing was I started again tracking my macronutrients.
Okay.
So I've done it a couple of years ago, but I stopped it, and then I started again with Nadia. And she was like, okay, you're eating way too much fat and too little carbs. Okay. Especially around your workouts. You're not eating enough carbs. Because I never ate anything when I was in the gym. I thought like, oh, it's going to be fine. But she was like, as soon as you're working out for longer than 1.5 hours, your body needs fueling. Yeah. Even if it's in the gym and even if it's like maximum strength and you're doing a lot of resting, but your head and your muscles need to be ready and they need quick carbs. So I started putting carbs in my drinks and actually having like sweets, doing my like gummy bears and stuff, doing my workouts. And
do you notice that you can train harder in those longer periods? Yeah.
And I've lost. So I always struggle a bit when I get nerves during the race or before the race that I'm getting tired. So this is one of my symptoms of getting nervous. But now with actually having more carbs during the race week, it kind of cut that off already. Like that was so sick last year. I never got tired doing my warm up for the race one, or usually I sat in the gondola and just got tired. Okay. Because like the race is coming up and getting nervous and then my body just shuts down. Yeah. But now with eating more and actually drinking caffeine as well before the race, that's the only time I drink caffeine.
In coffee format or like a gel or
pre-workout shake.
Yeah. Okay.
And sometimes a Red Bull. Yeah. Depends a bit. Okay. But the Red Bull makes me pee a lot. So don't like that. With these speed suits, it's not too easy.
It's not easy, right? So it's not just the macronutrients you're getting the right amount in the day, your timing when you're having those as well.
It's the timing. Right? Yeah, exactly. So like you don't need massive carbs in the evening when you fuel enough around your workouts, pre, during, post. So this is the most important time. And because I was pretty dull with all the like protein stuff and all that stuff, obviously, but I never were aware that much like how important carbs are actually. And it just gave me this little bit of extra boost. And I think like sometimes I was losing muscle during the season. Yeah. Because you obviously not train that much, but then I was not eating too good on the races as well. So your body takes the energy from your muscles. It's quicker than the fat, isn't it? And this kind of stopped now. So last year after the season, I had almost the same strength level than before the season. That's never been the case. Awesome. So yeah, we could start on a higher level already last winter.
Yeah, that's perfect. And in the off season, you visited the Denver facility, BOA facility in Denver. Talk us through that trip a little bit.
So the BOA crew invited me to their main office, to the headquarters in Denver. And on the way back from New Zealand, I made a little stop over there to visit all the crew over there and to see the performance test lab and all that stuff. It was pretty cool. Just the technology behind the brand and all the stuff and the work that goes into their products is sick, and how all the people work together. It was a really good crew. I actually got lucky and got a day snowboarding in with everyone as well, because was it February in Denver, Colorado, Rocky Mountains.
Perfect.
Been in Vail for a day of snowboarding. Actually got another day in because my flight got cancelled. So yeah, that was really sick to hang out with these people and enjoyed it. Yeah, big time.
Did you get the chance to do any testing or play with any of the equipment in the Performance Fit Lab?
they've got so much equipment there and so much testing. I mean, I'm quite into scientific stuff, and they've got all the tests
all the toys
you can play. It's so sick. They've got a motion system where you can track all your like motions, directions, and how the ankles of your body works. They've got a treadmill. They've got they can do like lactate testing and stuff.
Whoa.
They do that with endurance athletes. Got a golf swing thingy, like where you can analyze the technique and stuff. I think they just bought a new bike as well, which I could test, like a watt bike, performance bike. So there's a lot of money going into this test lab.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And the BOA's become quite a part of your race process now, right?
I don't know how often I grab my shoes and tighten these BOAs. It's almost too much. No, it just makes me, like, as I said, my gloves and my shoes need to be tight, because this is the 2 points I'm attached to the bike, and if my shoes aren't tight, I can't race. So yeah.
And that fight, like, that's part of your, like, right, we're ready to drop in sort of thing, is that like clicking of the bow?
Absolutely. Or not like dropping in, or when I actually realize now when I have to do, say like I have to do a jump the first time and I'm actually nervous.
Okay.
Kind of go into my shoes. Okay, my shoes are tight. Okay, right.
It's like a little, it's like a comfort thing.
Yeah, before I have to do something important on the bike, like something that's stressing me and that raises my nerves. Kind of just click and calms me down a bit.
Nice.
It's just making sure everything is in the right place.
Yeah.
And is tight and ready.
Yeah. So how are you feeling coming into the season this year then? It must have been a good wave of confidence with like everything you've done in the off season. Obviously you've got the unknown a little bit of having a new mechanic on the squad, but good numbers, like everything's going well in the gym. It's
funny because in theory and from looking from the outside, everything looked kind of perfect. I had a good off season. I had a good start, like with the team, good team camps, and worked well with the new mechanic and all that stuff. But coming into first race, I felt like I was the most nervous I've been for a while coming into World Cup season. I felt like I'm physically prepared and kind of mentally, but my skills aren't there right at the moment. Like I felt like I had a couple days on the bikes before and I just didn't feel the speed. I was always like, well, I'm riding good, I'm riding fast, but is it fast enough? Mm-hmm. All the girls are stepping up the game at the moment. And I was almost questioning myself, like I'm not that old, but I'm kind of getting older. I was like, there's so many young girls coming now, and having a junior girl in the team now, I was like, is she gonna kick my ass now? So, don't know, kind of had to find my spot again, and also not really ending on a high the last season. Mm-hmm. Not really having the season. It's not been a bad season. It's still been an okay, good season, but not really like crazy good results. No World Cup win, and I was like, don't know. So that third place in Poland just fired me up.
Good. That was not an easy weekend though, right?
No.
Like I think probably the coldest, snowiest mountain bike World Cup I can remember.
What was going on there?
So weird.
The funny thing was I didn't even realize it snowed until I went into the start gate and my goggles started to get covered in snow.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And then I rolled back, like cleared them again. Like usually I go in the start gate a minute before, but then I rolled back and only dropped in like 20 seconds or 25 seconds before, and my head down to just avoid getting snowflakes on the glasses. That was crazy. But the whole weekend the weather was just miserable, cold. It was just cold the whole weekend. Don't know, but I feel like with having that much experience now, with racing that many years, you kind of prepared a little bit, and I was just calm about it. I didn't mind the conditions at all. I was just like, you can't change this now. And I was actually in, like, sometimes you tell yourself just accept it and ride it, but it's trying to convince you about something that's actually not coming intrinsic from your heart.
Don't really believe it.
Yeah, but this time I was just like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I accepted and I just ride it, and I think this helped on race day. I was like, come on, give me the rain. I'm ready for it.
So coming away with that third place, then you must have felt a lot better after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And bringing that like confidence into Ludenville, a very different track, right? Poland's fairly flat, quite physical, quite pedally. Ludenville this year, especially in the dry, flat at the top, but very fast, and then just the whole hill just falls away, right?
And it was funny because the last years it's always been wet in Ludenville, and the race was a wet race, and now the forecast looked dry, and I was like, I would have wished for a wet race. I can ride the wet. I don't know if I can ride the dry, because in the dry, not everyone, but most of the girls or the guys as well, the times just get tighter and everyone's quick, and you almost have to go, especially in Ludenville, over the limit on the track. So I wasn't sure if I can do that. And then after qualies, I was like, I actually can ride the dry as well.
Yeah, because you qualified 3 places higher than you had the previous weekend in Poland. So
yeah, I qualified 5th, and I was actually leading until the 3rd split, and then I done a mistake, and this dropped me into 5th. But I knew, and especially the 3rd sector is the long tech sector, and and then the last 2 ones are only the short ones. So I was like, wow, I was leading until 2/3 of the race. So that kind of hyped me a little bit. And I was really, really sad that I got blown off.
Yeah, you went into that race run with a lot of kind of aggression. You were ready for that one, right?
And I knew I had to give it all. I knew I had to go all in, because the first 4 girls in qualifying were within 0.9 of a second.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's wild, isn't it? It's sick that the girls are that close together now. So I knew it's going to be an all-in or nothing run. That's the way I dropped in. Little did I know that in the end, a safe run would have put me in 3rd. But
yeah, it was quite spread on the race day, wasn't it? Right?
Because the track got blown.
Yeah.
But everyone was still going flat out, so that caused a lot of crashes.
Yeah.
Which is not nice.
No, not at all.
And the wind did us extra a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it was the wind that kind of caught you out in the end, right off that big stool wall.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a bit of 50-50 again. It's been a little bit my mistake with I was not aware of the wind anymore at that stage. I thought we're going to be fine down here with the wind. And then you scrub the jump exactly the way the wind comes. So like not against the wind, but with the wind.
Yeah.
And if I would have been aware of the wind a little more, I would have scrubbed it a little less, or like just braked a little more. But obviously it's race run, you're going all in. I went so quick into this stall wall and just got literally like 5 centimeters left off the pole. I could have gone lucky, and it could have been 5 centimeters the other way. I would have probably still not got the next corner good, but I could have carried on easily. But
at that point, the speed you're going to then like stop, run back up, go back around the pole. Like,
I don't know, 15, 20 seconds or something. It was, and from there on, I just cruised down. Well, my thought at that point when I was pushing at my bike was, at least I don't have to risk my life anymore now.
You can throttle back.
But, it was literally like that. You were kind of risking your life in that race run in Ludenville because the speed was high and the dirt was like soft and sandy, and all the little catches were starting to break away. It's just a matter of time until one of them is not going to hold you anymore. And just, you've seen that many crashes. So
yeah, there were some horrible crashes that weekend, right?
So yeah.
What do you think about the speed of it this year, right? Like it seems to have elevated another notch, and there's been like quite a lot of riders being vocal about being scared or it being too much. We saw some, yours included, but we saw some nasty crashes, too many helicopters taking people off the hill this weekend in Leogang. Yeah. Do you think it's gone too far?
Well, Warner Brothers is definitely pushing it into the direction of having faster races. It's, I think, sick to watch. It's kind of exciting. And it makes the times a bit shorter on the tracks. So that's what they want, isn't it? It would be sick to actually have a few more technical races, a bit of slower speed here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that they closed this one line in Leogang after track walk. There was a line they opened up coming into the woods, which would have sent us with crazy speed onto this one bridge before the main steep. And they closed it because all of us said like, this is going to be too crazy. Someone is gonna crash into one of these trees.
Yeah.
And we're trying to explain to them, make the track faster in bits where it's safe, but not in bits where you got loads of trees and where 20 miles an hour more is gonna cause a severe injury compared to just a little bruise. So I think this is what they have to work on. But yeah, I don't have a crazy opinion about it.
Do you enjoy riding at that pace? Like,
I enjoyed Ludenville.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely. But it's also, when you start thinking about it, this is actually sketchy and dangerous. So, but, well, when I'm racing, and that was my problem also on Saturday, something in my head just clicks, and I don't think about the consequences too much anymore.
I guess you can't. You wouldn't be good at what you do otherwise, right?
Yeah. Sometimes it would help me if I would think a bit more, but yeah. No, I think, but we're pretty vocal about it, and we are in contact with Warner Brothers, and we're talking to them, and they're listening to us. So we're working on it.
Yeah, good.
To make it a good thing for everyone.
Yeah. And we've got a lot of fast junior women at the moment,
so sick.
which is very, very cool to see. In your position, though, are you kind of keeping an eye on them? Because some of them are coming into elite next year, and they're not going to be hanging around.
Yeah. It's since like 2-3 years, I'm looking quite a lot onto the junior women's, because there's a lot of fast girls coming up. And there's a few now coming up into the World Cup, which I have been watching during the IXS races already. It's like Lina Rosa, Denada Rosa, Elida, all these fast girls, which are almost riding our times already.
Yeah.
So this is mental. It's only going to be 2 years and then they are up. So it's just more and more pressure coming from the bottom, which is sick. So I love it, and I love to see these girls pushing each other. I love to see the Norco team is actually pretty sick, having 3 girls in their team, all about. I think they're all 2 years from each other, away from each other. And the spirit between them 3 pushing each other is insane. It's sick. You usually only see that with the guys, that they go out for laps and push each other. But now you finally have a team where the girls are pushing each other that much. And I love to see having more than only 1 or even only 2 girls in a team. Like having 3 girls in a team is sick. I'm stoked having another junior with Ellie now. We can push each other because she's really good in all the tech stuff. I can learn from her actually there, or follow her sometimes, and then she can learn from me on more like bike parky fast bits. And I think give her 1 or maybe 2 more years, and she'll be definitely absolutely on my speed everywhere. So
you've got a fairly similar riding style as well, actually, on the bike. I'd say the 2 of you. True.
Yeah, I think she's even a bit more over the front and got her elbows out than I do. But the boys, our 3 boys, are riding completely opposite to the 2 of us. It's funny. So Ellie and me are riding more over the front, and the boys are riding way more over the back and more upright. Yeah. We had a long discussion about all that already. About riding styles and the way you use your quads compared to your hamstrings and all that stuff.
Would you ever look to try and change that? Do you think there's a right or a wrong there? Or is it just like whatever works for you and then you set the bike up for that?
I think it's pretty individual.
Yeah.
I think there's a way, like there's limits to certain things. If you ride too much over the front, it's nice to have a controlled feeling over the front and like weight. But if it comes to like sliding in a corner or something, if you have too much pressure on the front, you're gonna have grip, but then it's all gone and you're gonna crash. But if you have more weight on the back, even if the front slides a bit, you're gonna have less pressure on it, maybe gonna save the crash. Yeah. But at the same time, like Laurie, for example, is always struggling with front end grip in corners. So this is an ongoing problem since I know him in the team. Yeah. We're actually joking around that quite a lot. And then Jackson's just a full nother story, the way he rides.
Yes, he's unique.
Someone called him actually a frog lately. That was funny.
A frog?
The way he has his legs out.
Yeah, and just sort of hops around on the track. Yeah.
So it's actually a good comparison.
Good stuff.
So there's always pros and cons to certain things, and I think you have to see what works for you and for your body. Also for like, some people have longer legs, like limbs, and a smaller upper body, and the opposite way around. So that all plays into the game, and then just set up the bike the way you need it.
Yeah. And how is that relationship with Ellie? Because she's I would say a fierce competitor and very, very focused on what she's doing. And that's kind of cool now because you're in the same practice group, you can hang out together and you're not competing directly. But next year, you're in the same category.
Yeah, next year it's gonna be me or her winning. Nah. So it's a good relationship. It was weird for me having someone that young in the team. She's 11 years younger, and she's definitely in another like state of development or like whatever you call it. So like sometimes I'm a bit like, what? How did you mean that? And what did you like? I had to learn how to take certain things from her.
Okay.
But now, as I know how she works and she reacts on things and how she is, I get along with her very well, and we learn a lot from each other, I think. So yeah, I'm just positive about it, and absolutely fine if she beats me in a race.
Okay.
Well, then she deserves it if she just rides it better. I was actually in qualies. I came down from a quali run in Leogang, was saying, don't know, that was such a bad run. Ellie, go up and beat me. That
Nice.
was my last word, like, go up and beat me. She didn't, but with 3 seconds off.
Keeping a healthy margin. But she's already I think she had the fastest woman's time in Val di Sole last year,
That's
right?
why I was excited now for Val di Sole to go riding with her, because I struggle in Val di Sole and she's good at that track. So I was
she
like,
can help you out a bit.
Val di Sole, you have to go first now.
So how do we get, like, what's your best chance now to get ready for Val di Sole? If the scans come back clear, like, how are you going to approach getting ready for that event?
First, I'm a person, I hate riding with pain.
Mm-hmm.
And if my ribs and my lower back would be too painful, I would just call it and not do it. But if that all settles the way it settled now already in the first 2 days, and it just keeps going that way, I think it could be almost painless maybe next Monday. And then I could be able to ride. And then obviously do the first laps, take them easy and see how the body feels afterwards.
Yeah.
But also knowing I have to be on a very fast pace for qualifying already. So I'm kind of want to make a call after the first couple laps. Is it worth to push through it? Or am I going to be riding too safe and just be too far behind, and then it's not worth risking it? So yeah, I'm going to get a lot of physio, and I'm trying to eat as healthy as I can and trying to do as much as recovery as I can, obviously. But and then we're going to hope the scans are going to be all good. And then we'll see. I take it day by day. And then you might see me riding 1 or 2 laps in Val di Sole, and then I pull out because it's not working. Yeah. So I'm old enough now to sit and race out and be chilled about it.
Good.
We got so many more races coming this season. So that's actually sick. I'm way more chill to sit one out with having another 6 coming.
Yeah, there's plenty to go, right?
So long season ahead. I was working for the overall, but with having 2 bad results now, it's kind of a bit in the back of my mind. Well, you should never say no, obviously.
It's still possible, right?
Definitely, but it's kind of moved a little bit back into my head, and it's going to be more focused on the day wins and world champs. So
good stuff. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up. Firstly, we're glad you're even able to be here.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
I hope the scans and everything go well.
Yeah.
And that you're able to get back at the time that's right for you. But yeah, thanks for taking time to sit down, and hopefully we'll see you back on track pretty soon.
Thanks for catching up. It's been a pleasure. Always cool to talk to you. Awesome. And speak soon.
Sweet. Thanks, Nina.
Thank you.